Amari, let me say, how do I say Amari's? Lolita says, this is so good. Thank you. Thanks for being the voice of males and giving us women a clear understanding that we may not can get from other black men. Listen, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And like I said, this is a tightrope. I had to pray for I did this because I say, hey, listen, I don't want to be, I don't want to dishonor the men or, make the men feel like, hey, listen, that's not, how we do it, because I'm really trying to be able to speak for both sides. Not speak to one side and speak for the other side, right? But at the same time, just be as honest as I can be, right? So moving right along, and if you didn't catch everything, like I said, you can catch the replay, whether it's on YouTube. I'm inter-streaming right now, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, right? So you can catch the replay on one of those 3 platforms if you didn't catch all of the video and if you catch it coming on late, all right? So what we were talking about is when women say a man should just open up, communicate, say how he feels. And like I said, is it really that simple? And I got to ask, do you not feel attacked when he says some things that sting when you hear it? Do you not feel attacked? Okay. I ask that because why do I say that? When you have men that make the statement of, I can't talk to her, Clarence. I can't be honest with her, Clarence. It's not that easy. It ain't that simple, Clarence. He's saying that because where I can't see, where I'm not inside his household and his relationship, he's saying there's clearly a difference of what you see now and what's behind the scenes when the doors are closed. And so for these reasons and for certain subjects, it's not that easy for me to just talk about it, be open about it, be vulnerable about it, be confident, then bold, to say these things. Why? Because she making you think that it's that easy, Clarence. Clarence, these ladies making you think that it's just that simple. And it's not, right? So this is why I asked the question, because why men will say, well, every time I say something, I'm attacking her. And even as a married man, been married since 2012, I've often had to fight this uphill battle as well. So it's not something that's coming out of left field when I hear this and know that even in my own relationships, sometimes there's certain things where if you even say it, there's no good way to say it. Why? Because it's still an attack. If I say it slowly, peacefully, quietly, softly, it's still an attack. So as a man, I can empathize with a man who will say, hey, it's not that easy. She's trying to make it seem like she just this open spirit, open door policy, welcome in, come in. And it ain't like that. OK, so let me see. Miss Carrie Baby 22 said the truth hurts. This is truth for some men, and we as women have to try to understand and respect their truth. Listen, I appreciate you being on this live. That's kind of, one of the things that I'm stating as to why men cheat if they're happy. And I'm breaking this down, let them go step by step. So if you're coming on late, you're jumping on the train late, all I would ask is save this video. Also share this video with somebody, but use it as a tool in your back pocket to refer to, because you'll be able to see some of these things play out in your life. So let me see. Kalisha Ishan, she says, I'm going to feel some kind of way. It may not be attacked, but I'm going to be upset. I appreciate your honesty, because even that alone, you're like, I hear this oftentimes from my wife. She'll be like, you so predictable, right? Because we've been together so long, there's certain patterns that I have that make myself predictable to her. And anybody that's around me enough, anybody that's has someone around them enough will see and recognize the patterns they have to the point where it may be predictable, right? And so what the problem is women think that they're not predictable. Okay. So when a man recognizes certain subject matter triggers you or turns the conversation or the night goes left all because of a discussion he's trying to have or something y'all watch now triggers you. Now you questioning him, and then it doesn't turn this whole discussion and debate. And he was like, listen, I didn't ask for this. Like, I'm just trying to watch the show. So in his mind, he's like, you're predictable, and so predictable that I'm not about to do this with you. Yeah, you trying to, weasel me into this conversation that's going to lead to a conflict or a debate or a battle, and I'm not here for it. You see what I'm saying? And so with that being said, a man will disengage. So here's the thing. Women will oftentimes make the statement and say, hey, he should be stronger and just deal with it. Don't tell him he should be stronger and deal with it, because that's unfair to him. And it shows that you only care about how you feel. So when you have women that will make the statement of, hey, well, he should, a real man, a strong man, you have women that'll think that a man should just put up with anything. A real man will stick it through no matter what. No. As I told you, you have men that will stick it through for their children, even though women don't like that, knowing that women won't stick it through for the kids if she's unhappy with the man. See what I'm saying? It don't matter. We got 2 kids. You know what? I'm unhappy. Look like you're not involved, and you're not home. You're not at home. It seems like your head is somewhere else, and we're going through all of this. And I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of arguing. I'm out. Right? Man says, hey, listen, we got all this going on, man. Come on, man. Let's try to work through this. And even though y'all fighting in battle, he says, you know what, Clarence, man, it ain't easy, but you know what? Just to see my son wake up every day and give me a hug, and I get to drop him off to school, you know what? I'm gonna do what I can. Right? But now what happens is, because he's dissatisfied, you have cracks in the armor. Now this is where the women that other women know are trifling. Ladies, y'all know there are some women out there that will try your man, right? And so when it's cracks in the armor, now she slips through, and you just say, you know what? You just ain't about nothing. You just so trash men out here, right? Total disregard to what could have been helped on your end. So you can't say that, oh, he should just be stronger, knowing that just is insensitive, and it's unfair to him, knowing that it comes across like all you care about is your own happiness and how you feel about it. All right. So say side chick, simplistic digital. So here again, now let's hear this. The thing is this: it's hard to get through to your lady without an argument or her feeling attacked. This is a statement that has been said to me countless times by men, that when I'm in a couples session and now I'm able to separate man from woman, woman from man, and give them their own platform to just speak what it is that's true to them. When the man gets his turn, this is something that he says, that it's hard to get through to her without it being an argument or without her feeling attacked. Okay. Why is this important? It's important because when it comes to the options a man has, we have to look at the options. All right. So let's take a quick overview of the options. Here are a man's options when he may be dissatisfied in his relationship, his marriage, or whatever. His options are this. He mentions, number one, he mentions dissatisfaction in a relationship, and what oftentimes will happen is he's labeled insensitive or inconsiderate to her needs in her life and just her needs in general. Okay. What I mean by that is, if he's dissatisfied and mentions his dissatisfaction, it's turned around on him. Okay. He's not understanding her needs and understanding her. It's not that he doesn't feel the way he feels and is justified for how he feels. It's he feels how he feels because he's not considering her. Okay. So I pause there just because I want you to basically understand that if this is something that has happened to you or has been said to you, that think about how a man thinks. These are certain things that he may say this one time. Then after that, he's just going to feel like, you know what, I'm not even going to talk about it. Why? Because it's going to be an argument. So instead of arguing, I'm going to just keep the peace. And ladies, y'all don't like that. It's not about what's right or wrong. It's about what's real. All right. So he speaks up. You know what? He chests up, says it with his chest. Hey, I'm unhappy. And you know what? Then he gets labeled as, you know what? You're just insensitive. You're inconsiderate. Look at all I'm going through and look at all I have to endure. And it's a comparison. It's almost a disregard to how he feels because his feelings make her feel a certain type of way, which in turn is a display of his inconsideration and his lack of sensitivity to what she's going through. And you get the head scratch like, is that a Jedi mind trick? Like what just happened? How is that possible? And you know what? Now from then on, he's like, you know what? I'm not doing this. Right. But women make it seem like, as I said, men will say women make it seem like it's just so easy, Clarence. Just come and talk to me. Like my book, Come and Talk to Me, A Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. You can pick that up on relationshiphealing.co. This is my book just explaining why it is that men don't communicate, how to disarm a defensive man, why men hate being vulnerable, having expectations and weighing them against reality. Talk about this in a quick read. You can get this on relationshiphealing.co. But let's move right along. Now, that was his first option. His first option is to speak up, make his expression known, open up to you, tell you how he's feeling, so that there can be an area where you feel like, you know what, I need to step up as a woman. I'm gonna do what I need to do as a woman, and I'm gonna make sure I'm satisfying my man. I'm glad he spoke up and said that to me. Right? And like Kaylisha said, most of the time she is gonna be upset. It's not gonna be just, you right, Clarence, and no, she's gonna be upset. She's gonna be in her feelings, but yet in my feelings, but talk to me. Fight through this wall, fight through my anger, fight through my discontentment, fight through my attitude behind what you're saying, and just be honest with me. Like, that's tough. That's a hard expectation to have and hold, and expect somebody not to see it for fool's gold. So his second option is this. He can leave, right? Ladies say that oftentimes. Hey, if you're unhappy, then leave. Why don't cheat on? Just leave the relationship. But if a man is a good man and he leaves the relationship, oftentimes it makes the woman look bad. Okay, because if you have a mother or auntie or somebody older than you that knows, hey, I know a good man when I see one, and you had one, what you do, right? It's gonna make her look bad, because if he doesn't cheat on her, if he's not beating on her, cussing out, treating the kids poorly, doing all of these things, and it seemed to be, hey, they together one day, and then next day it seemed to be so-and-so is dissatisfied, and they splitting up, they breaking up, they ain't together. Women gonna be looking at her like, girl, what you did? What'd you do? Because Steve wasn't beating on you. I know Steve was a good man, but all of a sudden, like, what happened? No, you got to tell me what happened, right? And so she gets a bad rap. But if he's unhappy and he leaves the relationship, he also still can get labeled as weak, labeled as, oh, he's walking out on his family, labeled as he's not a real man. See what I'm saying? These are all terms y'all know, y'all heard. Y'all probably throw them out yourself. And so these are things that are the options of a man who's dissatisfied in that relationship. He can either make mention of these things, get labeled as insensitive, it gets turned around on him. It's not just openly accepted, and oh, you're just saying, oh, I need to improve it. Oh, I need to grow in this area. Oh, this something needs to be improved. I thank you for being humble in your approach and being respectful in your delivery, but still, you finna get it. What? So Miss Carrie Baby 22, she said, women are subconsciously taught to be spoiled in relationships. We can be selfish, not consider a man's desires. Listen, you speaking good game tonight. And this is why I said, I started from the beginning. Is he really happy? Let's question that. Is he just keeping the peace? Is he just doing it for the children and just really, he's not really satisfied with you? He's not really, as physically, sexually active with you, but yet he seems to still act like, yeah, we cool. We got a good marriage. We got a house, and, kids and cars in the garage. You know what? It's all good. But yet you feel a disconnect. Okay. So third of his options is to cheat, right? It's not the best option, but it is an option. And he may exercise that option. And what ends up happening is his frustrations, even then, are surely overlooked. Whatever he's unhappy about, whatever he felt, dissatisfied about, is surely overlooked at that point, right? There hasn't been many cases where a woman gets cheated on by the man, and well, let me say women will call them, hey, you know what, it's not your fault. Don't blame yourself, right? These are things that you hear, even if it could be something that he was dissatisfied about, he spoke about, he was open about, he came to her several times about, and regardless of all those things, women will say it's not your fault. It was his choice. He wanted to do what he did. So it's almost to say, no matter what you do, if a man cheats, it's his fault because he should have just left. All right, well, when he leaves you instead of cheats on you, then he gets labeled as weak. He's not a real man, and he's leaving his family. And when he talks to you, then you say, well, you know what? No, so you're not considerate to my needs and my feelings. And for you to say that and mention all of these things and not realize all that I'm going through and really see that? That's tough. That's real tough. That's real tough. Which is why, like I said, I can, while not approving of it, I can empathize. I can say, man, you know what? I ain't saying that you should have did it, but man, bro, I can see where you're coming from. I can see why you could be dissatisfied, right? So here's the truth. The truth is, women are only meeting his needs based off of her perception. not his. All right, I'm gonna say that again. Women are only meeting his needs based upon her perception, not his perception. Okay, when you hear women often, I was doing all I could do. I did everything. I did everything. That's based upon your perception. That's subjective to you. That's not his perception, which is why there's a disconnect in why you felt like he was happy, but he cheated. You see what I'm saying? So, if you get down to the nitty gritty, when we peel the layers back, you'll see that you weren't doing all that you could do in his eyes. You weren't everything and doing everything in how he perceived it. But in a woman's eyes, that, hey, I'm doing all of these things, so, I'm doing everything I could do. There ain't no need for you to be dissatisfied. Ain't no need for you to look any other place, no matter if you are dissatisfied with my weight or if our sex life is not active. Don't matter if if I'm overly possessive and want to know where all of your whereabouts. No matter if it's a lack of accountability on my part, or if every time you say something that could be an area that I can improve upon, I give you flack or I fight you back on that, or I feel like, you know what, every time that you say something you're attacking me. No matter, none of that. Why? Because you know what? I'm doing everything. I'm doing all I can do. Like I said, this is not going to go over with everybody so well. But at the same time, I bet you those same people that click off will come back and catch the replay where they may be able to fast forward through some parts and be able to get that whole message in a short amount of time. But listen, even though a person may feel like, man, I don't want to hear this, they're going to come right back. Because later they're going to feel like, well, I want to know what all he said. I ain't like that one part, but I still want to kind of know what he had said, though. So I'm going to... It happens, right? And so when a woman is saying that, hey, I'm doing everything, I'm doing all I can do, is it based upon your perception or his perception, right? You got to figure that out. So yes, communication, men do have to communicate, but this is why I wrote a book about why men don't communicate, right? What is it? I literally wrote a book for the women that say a man should communicate about these things, even if it's an argument, even though it's going to be a battle, he should talk to me. Well, in this book is going to explain why it's hard for him to do that. So I need y'all to grab that on relationshiphealing.co. All right. And so here's the thing. Number 2, these are 3 reasons that men have brought to my attention. Number 1 was the truth is women are only meeting his needs based upon her perception, not his. So when I get in these sessions and women say, Clarence, I'm doing everything that I can do, like I'm doing everything to keep my house together, it's him. And then when I get him in by himself, and it's like, man, listen, it's so much stuff that she's not doing. There's so many things I'm asking her to do. I come to her with respect. I try to be open. I try to be honest. I try to be vulnerable. But I'm at my limit. I'm at my wit's end. I'm halfway out the door, not because she's just so great and I'm such a terrible guy, but because, hey, if she is so great, why is she able to listen to what I'm telling her and not devalue what I'm saying and always give me rebuttals, flack and fighting me back on certain things that are my own feelings? So is it that my feelings are not important? Because it definitely feels like every time I bring something to her attention, it's always an attack on her. Why is it that when she feels that she wants to speak about something, it's like, hey, I should have the right to say about this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through, hear me out and understand me. And when it comes to him, it's a total opposite. It's an immediate attack, no matter how he says it, no matter his delivery, no matter his inflection, his tone. It doesn't matter, because he still gets, oh, see, here you go, attacking me. But these are the things that happen and what men are saying. Number 2 is this. When men will say that women prioritize what she feels important, and most of the time a man's satisfaction comes behind so many things. Have you heard this before, ladies? Where it's like, hey, listen, well, it seems like my satisfaction is down here on the totem pole on your list of important things among the day and throughout the week and throughout the year, right? And it seemed like it was more about just having a husband than being a wife. Seemed like it was more like you wanted a husband, but you didn't want to be a wife. So my satisfaction, the things that make me happy, the things that are that's on my mind that make me feel secure, you don't care nothing about that. That comes below all these other things. Okay, I got to make sure that the house clean. Okay, the money in the bank. Okay, the kids taken care of. Okay, I got to make sure I do some stuff for myself. Okay, I make sure I'm self-care. And then, okay, after all of that's taken care of, then it's like, okay, you good? And he like, nah, and I ain't been good for a long time. But it didn't matter to you. Why? Because it becomes below all of these other things that you deem important. Now, here's the kicker, and the bad part is that he's feeling that way while saying that to himself. But when it comes to you, I always got to keep top priority in your satisfaction. I always got to make sure that I'm being romantic, that I'm sensitive, that I'm helpful, that I'm, jumping right in when you need, and sometimes having to do it without you asking. I'm always having to be this great example of a guy and a leader and all of these things. But yet that is where I have to keep this in mind. I have to keep this level of priority on these things to satisfy you and make you feel like, I'm a great man and this is a great marriage. But yet when it comes to me, it's like, okay, kids, household, finances, okay, savings, okay, we got to have travel, and then my school, okay, self-care. And then number 7 is he okay? Does he need anything? Let me just ask him a question, make sure we good. Excuse me? Not just me. This is what men are saying. Let me see. Hope I say this right. No IG Wiz says perspective is everything. We have to be able to compromise and see it a different way. And I'm hoping through this video, it'll open your eyes to seeing it a different way, because it's not to be offensive or not to come across to put women down, but really just to give game, because a lot of men aren't telling you this. And so that's why I say this video, share it with a homegirl, share it with a friend or family member, so that all of y'all be able to understand some of the things that men are not telling you in real life. All right, so here's the thing. Number 3, men have to keep up a standard for her satisfaction, but women get a pass or an excuse for not keeping a standard for his satisfaction. And that's just what I just said right now, where basically he has to hold up his end of the bargain when it comes to women saying, hey, well, you started dating me like this, so you got to continue. You can't drop off. You got to keep it like this. While at the same time, she gets a pass or an excuse when it comes to her dropping off. So when I talked about the weight, when I talked about, sex life, when I talked about lack of accountability, you'll have women to say, hey, I gained weight because of this. You need to be sensitive to that. Hey, we can't be as active sexually, physically because of this. You need to be sensitive to that. Okay. When it comes to lack of accountability, hey, you need to understand that I had a right to be wrong. Okay. Even though I was wrong, I have my reasons, and in those reasons gives me the right to be wrong when I was wrong. So with all of that being said, don't come for me unless I sent for you. Right. And so all of this makes a man incensed. It makes him frustrated. It makes him angry because he's saying to himself, man, this is what it's all about. And the guys that are outside of marriages that are still dating, they're looking like, man, I'm kind of having cold feet now, because that's how you gonna be. Let me know now, because I don't, we can still date, because I don't, listen. Right? And women like, no, listen, we need to move forward. Let's get married. And got to this point. Come on. We need to marry. What are we doing? Let's just get married. And he like, man, all right. Now you really pushing me. And I'm starting to get worried. Okay? So let's move on. All right? So women make the argument that if he says it the right way, okay, sometimes men do say things the wrong way. They do attack you. They do make you feel bad. And when that may be true, but in the same breath, if you know that no matter how he says it, you're going to feel a way, and that you may still be upset, like Alicia said on YouTube or Facebook, then that says it all. So it's all subjective to you. His approach, if it is said in the right way or not, is all subjective to how you feel. So even if he comes and feels like, I strategically, I said, okay, well, this is going to be the right time. I'm going to say it like this. I know how she is. I know her past, her history. So I'm not even going to go into that. I'm just try to be as black and white as possible, try to touch on this. And hopefully I get good, positive results. And yet, even still, because it being subjective to you, he comes to you in a peaceful, humble way. And still, it's like, you know what? See, this is what I'm talking about. And every time we get to talk about this, and here you go again. And this is why I like this. So you know what? Right? And he gets nowhere. He gets nowhere. And all the while, the sentiment is just come and talk to me. Like the book say, come and talk to me. This is me as a man speaking on behalf of man in this book when I titled this, Come and Talk to Me. because a lot of women believe that, hey, he good, and you know what? Listen, he need to open his mouth and just be. Women are communicators, men are not. Women have a sense of, hey, I can just speak openly about things. Men don't. We got to feel like we're confident in you and believe in you enough to open up to you, because we don't do that for everybody. And if you ladies knew your men more, then you would know that that is the case, and not hold so much pressure over him to speak to you about things you know you would have issue about, even if he, like, I don't think sometimes women respect the approach enough to not be sensitive to it. Because why? These subjects, when it be a touchy subject, it's subjective to how you feel like it came across. No matter how he said it, it's like, well, the way I perceived it, the way I heard it, right? And that's why I titled my podcast Male Translations, and the title slogan is the difference of what men say and women hear. Why? Because women will say, well, that's how I heard it, right? I'm like, I didn't even say that. I was trying to say this, and let me clarify. I'm like, well, in so many words, it seemed like you said this, and that's how I heard it, right? So, with all of that being said, all right, I hope I gave clarity to why men cheat if they're happy, quote unquote happy. So, what is the solution? The solution is to say, hey, I need to figure out if my man is really happy or if he's keeping the peace. All right. But first, I need you to grab this book, Come and Talk to Me, The Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. The reason being is because it's not always going to be that easy when you feel like he's already in a shut down state of mind, or he's already in a kind of, you know what, I'm falling back. He's kind of really reserved about communications about certain things. As I said, it's not always easy to get through your lady. And a lot of men feel happy only in the areas that they can discuss without argument. Household stability, future goals and plans, child care, well-being of the kids. He can talk about that all day, no problem, because he knows no argument is going to come behind those subjects. But when he starts talking about weight, sex life, possessive personality, lack of accountability, just among a few things, and it's not all of it, then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And so this is what happens. And so the solution is that you really have to try to get him to open up and understand why he is not opening up. It's not always just him just being such a weak guy that he can't talk to you. He was talking to you when he met you. Y'all wouldn't have a relationship if he didn't speak to you. So why is it that now he's with you, he feels like he can't talk to you? There's something in that. And that's why if it's me, I always hold a level of accountability over myself, because I want to know why I wasn't approachable enough to be honest with, to where before you felt the need to go somewhere else, you couldn't talk to me about certain issues. So let me see. We're wrapping this on up, but let me see. Amari said, and this is on YouTube, says, us women need to help create a space for the men to be able to talk and be comfortable and communicate without the backlash. We don't need someone else opening the door to come in and be Mrs. Talk to Baby. That's a fact. And that's why I said some of those cracks in the armor, some of those doors being cracked, where you have women that, ladies, y'all know, it's some trifling women out there that, hey, listen, as soon as they see an opening, they own your man. Why? Because he's been doing right for you for so long. He's been doing what he can to be a good man for his family and for his children. But as soon as there's a crack, as soon as he start coming into work talking about, man, he's sick of this, and man, he's upset. Shit, what's wrong? It's like, man, you know what? Just some men with wife going through it or something like that. Y'all hate that. Y'all, don't say nothing about what's going on in this house. Just like Mama used to say, well, go on in this house, stay in this house. Y'all don't want nobody to know about the issues that you may be creating for him inside the relationship. Why? Because you may feel like it's untrue and that's slander, and you just feel like, hey, that's not telling the whole story. But even if it's not the whole story, that's his story. Again, a lot of the stuff is subjective to you. So things that he perceives are subjective to him as well. So he has a right to see things how he sees things. It's just in his relationship, is what he sees being valued. Is what he perceives being valued. Because if it was, and he would feel open enough and confident enough to speak without fear of punishment or fear of backlash, and that way y'all can actually have robust conversations and he can be open and honest, because a lot of times that smooth ride that y'all want, ladies, comes after the rocky road of some of the discussions of, hey, am I really doing everything that you feel like I need to do for you? Okay. The place in my marriage, it came behind a lot of conversations where it may not have seemed like, oh, we were going to make it through, right? Where it was times where it was like, man, we weren't seeing eye to eye. We're like, well, really what we're doing? Are we really doing this? Are we still going to move forward? What are we doing, right? And through those conversations came that understanding that everybody wants, that relationship goals and the relationship that in the marriage that people want to be able to play what they made, or you poke fun at each other and not get mad at each other, or feel like, oh, they attacking you, things of that nature. Like, that's where you want to be, but it comes behind those conversations where it may not be hard to hear. I mean, it may not be easy to hear, but at the same time, those are the most productive conversations because you gain so much understanding of the other person through those conversations. So when you do get the man to communicate, if he does feel open enough to honestly feel like this is not fool's gold, that you really are going to allow him to speak and you're not going to get mad, you're not going to be sensitive, and that you really are going to be open to what he says so that you can make those changes and feel like you are saving your marriage, saving your relationship, then he will open up to you, and you have to take that and run with it. You have to take that and build from it. Because if you don't, then you'll have the situation where he seems like he's happy, but he's really keeping the peace. All right. So it's relationship coach Clarence Brown. I think I want to leave it right there, and I don't want to go too far into it, too much light or dull or soul. But I think that I was able to break it down as much as I can. It's been an hour and 8 minutes, so I'm gonna leave that right there. What I need y'all to do, if you're on Facebook, I need you to share this post. All right. If you're on YouTube, I think you can share also on YouTube as well. I need you to share this post. That to me would be where I would have the most gratitude. Please, please, please. I appreciate y'all hitting this comment section, man, and joining in on the discussion. So it's not just me talking to the screens. All right. And I appreciate y'all for that. But now what I'm asking, if y'all really feel like y'all got something out of this, is to share this post with somebody that you know. Because I want this discussion to be had among many more people, especially in our community, because there's too many things that separate us and not enough things that are reconnecting us and unifying us. So, like I told you in the beginning, my goal is to bridge that gap of communication and understanding between men and women, and overall help you improve your dating experiences. Well, this is one part of it. Just having this knowledge, I think, ladies, will be extremely helpful for you to understand some of the things that may not be easily said to you. And this is why a man outside of your life or relationship can say things that you may not hear within your life and relationships. Because these things aren't easy to talk about, especially for a man, because it's not so easy as women will make it seem, as if you can just say all of these things. And like I said, guys will be in the back rooms or be in the bedroom, door closed, strategically trying to formulate a way to deliver a message to where he can get his point across without it being offensive. And still it's met with a fight. It's, Star Wars 3, to let the force be with you. And he like, God, dog, what? You know what, man? I don't know no more. And then all of a sudden now he goes to work frustrated the next day. People see it all on his body and his disposition. And now you got the little work babe chicks that's out there just waiting on an opportunity for you to slip and for him to be mad and in his feelings about it. And then nowadays, what's wrong? You need something? Hey, I made some extra spaghetti. You eat spaghetti? Oh, I wasn't even going to eat all this. Here, you good? What's happening? You seem mad today. You don't normally like this, Clarence. Like, you see that? See that? See that? And ladies, y'all know it's out there, because as a woman, y'all know the tendencies of other women, especially the ones that are single and still desiring a man, and a good man at that. So if you got a good man and he is doing all that he can, understand that there are times where he may not be happy, just like it's times where you're not going to be happy. And in those moments, you really have to gain clarity on where you need to make your work and where you need to go ahead and draw your pick and shovel, because it's work on both sides. And so if you are a woman that's open enough to not be offended by the things I said, hopefully this is a blessing to you. So I want y'all to share this post. And I'm out, man. I want y'all to also stop by my website, relationshiphealing.co. Let me put that in the comments. That's not .com, that's .co. All right, relationshiphealing.co. And I want y'all to check out, man, some of the things I have there. Not only the coaching packages, because I'm a certified relationship coach. So if you need help in your situation, whether it be finding a better mate or better quality mate, understanding your relationship a little more closely to be able to understand where y'all can build or grow in certain areas, man, hit me up, man. You can sign up for an assessment call, and we can go from there and kind of discuss what you're going through and see if it's a match on both sides to start some coaching. And also, I have my online course, Attract the Quality Man in 30 Days is to help women to be able to attract the quality man and know the difference in how men date of high quality, high regard, and men that are low frequency brothers. And knowing in a shorter amount of time than you do, so that you can save yourself some time. So these are all things that I provide on my website as well as other things. But I just want y'all to stop by that page on your way out. Show me some love, man. And we're going to see y'all again on another Tuesday night. We're going to have another great topic on the Male Translations Podcast. So Facebook, YouTube, y'all be ready, man. Be ready. Set your calendars Tuesday night, 8 p.m. And this your main man, relationship coach Clarence Brown, certified relationship coach, author, speaker, and the host of the Male Translations Podcast. I'm out, man. I'll see y'all another great night. All right. Take care. Be blessed. Peace.